Hey, it's Ryan here with Breakthrough Guitar, and today I really just want to teach you a really fun version of a boring scale, the chromatic scale on your guitar. Now, we typically consider this scale one of the most boring exercises in the world, and I get it, but it is necessary. And we all typically start with the same thing. It's just 4 frets, 4 fingers across all the strings. Something like starting on that low E string and going 5, 6, 7, 8. Moving to the A string and going 5, 6, 7, 8. Moving to the D string, doing the same thing. Every single string across the entire fretboard. And then if you really want to mix it up, you could get real crazy by going backwards. 8, 7, 6, 5, 8, 7, 6, 5. Now, this is necessary for getting your hands to actually move and do what you need to do as far as your guitar technique is concerned, but eventually it kind of gets stale and boring. And there are different variations that I really like to use when I'm playing my chromatic scales, just because I don't like to play the same boring ones for years. So today we're going to learn just that. I'm going to teach you a few variations based on something that I learned years ago from John Petrucci of Dream Theater that I think is pretty cool. So when we think about our typical chromatic scale, we think of 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, or, anywhere, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, it's the same thing. We just move it around everywhere. But when we think about it, it's divisible by what? 2. And it's based in 4s as well, right? It's divisible by 2. So it's easy for us to say things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Or if you want to count in eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's very easy to divide, which actually makes us fall into this trap of easy playing with an easy exercise. So we should always be challenging ourselves a bit more and more every time we sit down. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to remove that thought of typical common counting of 4s. And we're going to mix it up. We're going to add a little beat here. And you don't need to know how to count the beats. You don't need to know how to count rhythm or anything. You just need to know how to focus on patterns and steps and when to switch back and go forward. And that's what we're going to work on today in this new version of a chromatic scale. So I want you to start the exact same way you would. Something like 5, 6, 7, 8 on that low E string. And then on the A string, I want you to go 5, 6. But I don't want you to keep going. Instead, I want you to take that pinky and go backward. So I want you to go to that 8th fret of the low E. And then I want you to jump to the A string, 5, 6, 7. So all in all, on the low E, we're going 5, 6, 7, 8. On the A, we're going 5, 6. We're coming back to the 8th fret on the low E. And then on the A string, 5, 6, 7. Here's what it looks like nice and slow. Now, I know what you're thinking. That is boring and way too short. Well, it doesn't stop there. We're going to expand this a little more. So we can think of that first movement as one piece of a puzzle that we're going to connect together. And we're going to use that same puzzle piece just in different areas every single time. So if there's something you need to memorize here and really remember, it's that pattern. We're on the lower string. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3. Just remember that. Because you're going to do that same exact pattern that we just did where we stopped. You're going to restart it on the A string. So on the A, once we're done and we're at that 7th fret, we go back to the 5th and we restart. 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 8, 5, 6, 7. Did you catch that? So we start with the low E. I'm still on the A string, the 7th fret here with that note. But instead of being on that 7th fret, we're going to restart that entire exercise on this new string. So now we're going to drop down to fret number 5 on the A. And you should start to see, okay, so it's just that small piece of an exercise, and we're moving it starting on the E string. Then we stop, then we're going to move it and start it on the A string, and then the D, and then the G, and so on. So we're going to work our way with that pattern across the fretboard. I'll do it slow. This is how it looks. Again, just a really good way to mix it up, but you can go further than that if you wish. You notice how, again, we started with that first block of an exercise, and then we were able to say, okay, that one started on the E string. Let's start it on the A string next. Well, if you just think about separating out that small bit of the exercise where we were going 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 8, 5, 6, 7. And you do those all in a nice even order, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1, and you can move that anywhere. So I could start on that 5th fret, and I could just stay on the lower string and the A string, and I could go up the fretboard. Instead of starting it on that same fret on the string that's going down there, I could start it up a fret, so I'm moving diagonally. Just a really versatile way of thinking about your chromatic scales. And by the way, if you're not following, if you're not subscribed, if you haven't clicked the alerts, make sure you do so you see these as they continue to come out, and we will see you in the next video.